Okay, wonderful. Cool.
But a serious answer to that is you have to understand that when you play solo queue, mm, working within your team and getting the most out of your team is every bit as important as what you do as an individual player. And that's one of the most overlooked aspects when it comes to Overwatch because it is such a team focused game.
Right.
Uh, the best thing that you can do is you don't want to be the best player in the game, you want to be the best teammate in the game. And that's not what a lot of people want to hear when they say, how do I make solo queue experience better?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, that's how team objective based games are played. And often the best teammate isn't necessarily going to be the best player. You can be both. That'd be fantastic. But being the best teammate is something that you have to be very conscious about. Have to have the right mentality about.
So this is
And
just enabling people, essentially.
absolutely think of it as like if I can make everyone around me 25% better, that's going to be much better and a lot more realistic than making myself 100% better.
Right. Okay.
It's not always easy. And the way you do that changes from game to game because you have to sort of read people in terms of what type of player they are, what type of person they are, and what do they need to help to succeed, and what do you need out of them to succeed. And some people are lost causes, simple as that. But you never assume that. You never ever assume that. Even if they start the game, they're toxic AF. There are times where that toxic player is just having a bad day. You can get them to be less toxic or to calm down a little bit and get something out of them. But sometimes they are a lost cause. Accurately depicting them, accurately figuring out which ones are the lost causes, and then muting them, blocking them, and going with everyone else, and is the way to go in that situation. Now, it's also understanding, 30% of the games you play, you're going to lose no matter what you do. You can be a pro player and lose that game.
Right.
You're going to have to accept that. 20% of the games you play, you're going to win no matter what you do. You tend to forget that. You tend to get credit. You tend to give yourself credit for those anyway. But they happen. They happen. So it's really what happens is what do you do in the 50% of the games that what you do is going to change the difference between win and lose. And not letting the 30% of the games tilt you and not assuming you're in a 30% game until the match is over. One of the worst things you can do is assume you're in a lost cause game before the fat lady sings and you throw away a game that was winnable because you're in a bad mental attitude or you didn't like how things started off.
Okay. I
Another
see.
one of the worst things you can do is just, you know, get tilted in the game that is a 30% game. It happens. Get
Yeah.
over it. Like don't let that happen. Don't let that negatively impact your next game. You're gonna have a lot of those. And just because it's 30% of the time doesn't mean because you won this game, the next two are gonna be fine. You can have the way that odds work. You can have a 30% game 4 games in a row.
Yeah. Hmm.
In conjunction with that is making sure that you get the most out of your players and trying to synergize with your team. Um, the best way I can say that is imagine when you're playing Overwatch, you're basically a chef. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't get to control your ingredients.
Okay.
Um, uh, you might want to. Your job is to make the most delicious dish possible, and you're like basically playing like Iron Chef or whatever Food Network shows you're familiar with or not familiar with. But
Yeah.
basically, they give you some like random ass ingredients, and you got to make something tasty out of it. That's kind of what comp is in a nutshell in the solo queue.
Yeah. It sounds familiar.
Um, now, you might not be able to make the best cake you ever made with the ingredients you're given, but you're not trying to make the best cake. You're trying to make a good enough cake.
Hmm.
just good enough to win, good enough to please whoever, good enough to win that match. And if you're able to do that, you're going to win more games than you used to. And that's what it is. It's not about winning every game like that. It's about winning more games like that. And understanding that and not focusing on just winnings and losing, but not focusing on the number next to your name is really important. One of the best ways to get sick and tired of any competitive game is to focus entirely on the number next to your name. Entirely on the W's and the L's.
Yeah.
As a competitive person, I know for myself that took me a long time to recognize it was a bad problem. But you gotta get out of that. You gotta not care about that. There's a game called Dead by Daylight, and I've been playing it recently, and I like it, but I hated it when I took it competitive. It's not a competitive game, but the ranking system is one of the worst I've ever seen in the game. Right. It's a really fun game. It's a fucking fun game, but the ranking system is terrible, and I didn't really appreciate it until I stopped caring about winning and losing. Now, it didn't mean that I played terrible, like I played half-assed or anything. But what it meant was I could focus on just improving at the game, not caring about when insurmountable things happen, like pitting up against anyway, their ranking system coming into effect to a large extent.
Yeah. And
focusing on just myself and improving. And I found myself, once I did that, one, I enjoyed the game 10 times more. And two, I got a lot better quicker. So, because I was focusing more on improving than whether or not I won or lost. I didn't, because you're going to win some games that you didn't play well, and you're going to lose some games that you played fantastically in. And if you feel like you're not accomplishing something when you lose, even though you did well, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And worse, if you feel like you're really getting it when you did poorly, but you won because you got carried, then you're doing yourself a disservice and getting bad habits and justifying them.
Yeah.
So it's really more of focusing on every game, trying to get the most out of every game, not just yourself as an individual player, but as a teammate. And if you focus on that, you're going to become a better player, you're going to enjoy the game more, and you're going to win more games in the aggregate. I say the aggregate as a qualification, as a reason. You might
average,
be
you're going to win more.
Exactly. I've seen players improve drastically and lose SR. It happens.
Okay.
Absolutely, it happens. It doesn't happen most of the time. Well, because there's more variables out of your control, and you improve in one aspect, and you don't improve in another aspect. Let's call yourself an individual player and a teammate as two entirely different aspects. Okay.
Right.
You can improve as an individual player, but you don't improve as a teammate, and that might not be good enough. Or you might improve as a teammate, and you don't improve as an individual player, and that might not be good enough. Both are important. That said, in my opinion, improving as a teammate I've seen as had higher success rates than just if you had to choose one of the two. And that just goes to show that, making the people around you better is better than making you yourself better in terms of win rate.
Yeah, it's a team-based game. I can see what you mean.
That said, regardless of whether you win or lose in that situation, it's about improving yourself and focusing on what your bad habits are, what's really holding you back, and really just getting the process of analyzing yourself and the game itself. A good thing is, don't worry about winning and losing. Ask yourself why you won and lost. And don't be afraid to blame yourself. That's really important. Understanding why you win and lose, team fights or matches, is really important. And I'll be honest with you, I doubt you know it.
That sounds fair.
The vast majority of people don't know it. And that's why they have coaching, because they're losing, and they don't know what to blame.
yeah, that is the main point of this, is that I don't know what else I can be doing, and I'm fucking sure there's so much more, but I'm just not aware.
There are so many variables in Overwatch. This game is complicated AF. This is probably the most complicated game I have ever played. No joke.
Okay.
Like, StarCraft 2 is probably the toughest game I've ever played, but this is the most complicated. Like, StarCraft 2 is simple. It's just it's hard to do it. You can understand what you need to do, but it's hard to do it. Overwatch, it's easier to do the things, but it's hard to do all of them. It's hard to understand all of them.
Yeah.
And be aware of all of them. There's just so many different things. There's so many variables in effect. And I don't say that lightly. Like, this game will never be even close to perfection. Like, when I watch Overwatch League, like, all I see is mistakes. Like, the best of the best are just making mistakes.
Right.
It's really whichever team is making less mistakes wins. And ask any coach, any Overwatch League coach, and they'll tell you, yeah, it's the team that makes the least amount of mistakes wins. It's not the team that plays the best, or has the best players. It's a team that makes the least amount of mistakes.
Right.
Hopefully, it gives you an understanding of
Yeah. No, it does.
really what's going on with that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any gameplay footage we can look at?
I do. I was figuring that you could watch it on the replay viewer and then stream a screen,
sure.
if that works.
That's what the plan was. Now, let me reiterate this, okay? This is the most common way I do lessons. This is not the best way I do lessons. The best way I do lessons is, as I said in my profile, to upload it to YouTube or Twitch, and then go over the gameplay that way. The reason for that is because Replay Viewer lacks one very important, critical piece of information that doesn't exist. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is, I'll be honest with you, other than not understanding why you win and lose fights, that is probably the single most important thing that people neglect so much is voice comms. And I'm sorry, man. I got nothing to do with that when it comes to the Replay Viewer. They don't have anything, so I can't help you with it.
That's fair enough.
And
I will say that from what I've seen in the lower ranks, it's either people just aren't in voice or just don't tend to listen, really. Or just, tilt on voice, which is lovely.
So let's talk about that, because it's really important for me to talk about communication. Let me emphasize this.
Sure.
Your communication is every bit as important as your mechanical skill, if not more so, depending on your role. So neglecting that is like not playing the game with one arm. Yeah, you could do that, but you won't be near your potential.
Yeah, so when I play with 4 or 5 friends, obviously we're all in Discord, we're all communicating, and that's when I tend to see, games are easier, games are more winnable.
That's going to be a big portion of it, yeah.
Yeah.
The only way teamwork happens is by communication. Let me emphasize that even more. One of the easiest ways, to win games, like one easy, weird, obvious trick to make you win more games is just simply having better target focus.
Yeah.
And that's non-existent unless you communicate.
Yeah.
You cannot target focus without communication. It's impossible. The average Overwatch player, they go, all right, I'm here. I will put as much thought into playing this game as the average World of Warcraft mob. I'll see a red thing. The first red thing I see, I'm going to go after attacking it. And if it leaves line of sight, it might as well disappear, doesn't exist. I'll find another red thing. Where's another red thing? Oh, another red. That thing looks red. Let me shoot this. And that's it. And their red thing that they're shooting won't be your red thing that you're shooting. And then nothing dies, and you die, and you're wondering why isn't anything dying? Why did we lose that fight?
Yeah.
Simple target focus is the one way to win more fights.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I try and be in voice chat when I can, but when no one else is in it, it just becomes more difficult.
So when you say no one else is in it, that is kind of a problem. Try to get people in it. But let's elaborate on that. It's not just what you say that's important. What's even more important than what you say is how you say it.
Sure.
Really, really important. So he says, if you say something like, "Hey, everyone, get in voice comms." Or, "Hey, why aren't you in voice comms?" "Hey, dude, get in voice comms." I'm gonna say, "You're getting annoying. I'm muting you, and I'm not definitely not getting in voice comms." But if you say something like, "Hey, Zarya, I'm Reinhardt." Let's say you're playing Reinhardt. "Hey, Zarya, how about can you get in voice comms so we can work using Bubble Synergy together? And I can tell you when I'm going aggressive or when I need to get back." Well, now you gave a reason to be in voice comms, and it's not just get in voice comms to get in voice comms. You gave a really good reason to know what to expect out of you when you're in those voice comms, and there's a better chance of them going in there.
That's interesting. I've not thought of that actually.
It's the same thing when you see a hero that on your team that doesn't make any sense, and really you need that change. Don't say, "Hey, Mercy, can you go Moira?" Say, "Hey, Mercy, you're probably an awesome Mercy, but our composition is really brawly, and I would absolutely love it if it's possible that you can play Moira at all with us, because it will really help me be able to go aggressive on the team. And your coalescence will really allow me to be able to go aggressive."
Right.
Give them a reason why. Give them what you expect out of them, and make it really simple, so that even if they're not comfortable on Moira, they don't have to do that much. If they can just do that, that's all you out of them. You will just pave the way for them. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So what are we playing right here?
Blizzard World. I'm Dr. Smithy. He's the
Blue,
Moira on a
ready
red
for
team, and I
battle.
think we're attacking. I can't remember who's first on this one. But
All right. There we
basically,
go.
this is one of the matches that. So my main support is probably between Mercy and Anna. When I play in a group,
Okay.
don't tend to play main healer that much, so I'm trying to get better on anything else but Anna, basically. I've tried
Why do you
queuing.
want anything but Anna?
My friend plays Anna, and I think that's the best support
Okay.
he's best at, so I try and pick other things to kind of work around him.
Okay.
So I'm best at Mercy out of all of the others probably. But I've kind of found that Mercy's, well, in my experience anyway, quite team dependent if you're solo queuing, because you're just trying to pocket people who might be doing something or might not be. So I try to play characters which I felt at least have a bit more of an impact when you're solo queuing. So I picked Moira or Baptiste as my
All right.
main two picks.
All right. So let's talk about that.
Sure.
When to pick what hero in this situation? We'll talk about supports. So supports are very team comp dependent.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily team dependent, team comp dependent to a large extent. So in this situation, we have a Reinhardt, we have a Zarya, we have a Moira.
Yep.
That's a very brawly composition. Moira is fantastic with brawl. It makes a lot of sense. Now we have this Hanzo and this Sombra, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And this, so it's like our DPS don't want to play with our tanks at all.
Yeah.
So we have split win condition. That's a problem. So immediately I want to say this composition is dog shit, because we have our tanks and our DPS as two entirely different win conditions.
Yeah.
So I would say that Anna would have been a lot better than a Moira here, because although the Moira would have been a lot better for like the Reinhardt Zarya fully brawl composition, you can't heal the Hanzo, you can't heal the Sombra, and you can't heal your Mercy, and that's a problem.
Sure.
And Anna can heal our tanks just fine. Anna can heal everything that's fine. Anna's one of the most flexible supports in the game. So I would have preferred you play Anna on this point with this composition.
Sure.
Though I would prefer one of the DPS to swap to something a little bit more consistent. We do have a Mercy that can deal with this a little bit, so he's probably going to pocket this with Hanzo mostly. But honestly, with Brawl, you kind of want a Lucio anyway. Look at the enemy team composition. They have a similar problem. It's crap. I mean, it's like you've got like, hey, I got an Orisa, I want to play Bunkery. But I also have a Zarya, which only goes well with Reinhardt. She wants to go aggressive. It's a conflict. You've got like this Ashe and this Orisa and Moira that want to stay still to a large extent, and then you got this Lucius The whole purpose is to go fast. And then you got the Genjis just hanging out the side going, somehow, I hope I get healing somehow. So yeah. Let's see how this works.
2,
Yeah.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Do you want spoilers at all, or just to watch it as it goes past?
Say again?
Do you want spoilers, or just to watch it and see what you see?
No spoilers. I don't
Alright,
like
go
spoilers.
for it.
I want to be able to predict by being smart
Alright.
and then be wrong because they didn't punish you or your team did something dumb. What level is this, by the way?
So I normally sit at about 1800, 1900, and then I had
Okay.
a few really bad matches kind of last night and this morning, and managed to drop down to about 1600, which is about where this is.
All right. I was about to say this looks kind of like Silverish.
Oh yeah.
All right. Positioning. Why are we here?
Trying to heal the tanks, basically.
again.
Trying to use the cover from the main statue in the middle to try and shield you from anything from the back. Yeah.
Why are we here?
Again, out of line of sight from the front, but I think my spray can reach them from there.
This is an Anna location, and it's difficult to reach here. Here's a problem with this guy.
Sure.
This is an okay Anna location. Like, you can heal them this way, you can heal this way as they poke in. That's perfectly fine. This is a terrible Moira positioning. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Sure.
The reason for that is, yeah, you might be able to heal them from here barely. I'm not even sure if you can. But here's the thing. They don't want to be here, do they? They want to be coming up here. If they're going to come up here, what do you got to do to keep up with them? You got to cross the highway. Your cover isn't this. Your cover is this. Understood?
Yeah.
I want you here. I want you doing this instead, okay?
Sure. I think I moved to there, but let's
No,
watch.
the problem is, for you to move here, you're going to have to, like, cross the highway. You don't want you there. I want you getting literally inside Reinhardt's armor as you're transitioning here.
Right,
You
so
don't
really
get to have
close.
space here. This is an Anna situation, not a Moira situation, okay? Pretend you're a melee healer as much as possible. Just be on top of them, chill with them, then rotate over here. If they push in, then get behind them. You want it to keep up with your team, and you're not doing that. And to keep up with your team, you're probably going to have to use your shift to do that. And I don't like using your shift for positioning if we don't have to.
Okay.
Because you like this Zarya should not be dead. She's gonna die because you're poor positioning. Oh, she barely survived. One thing I gotta get used to, okay? Silver's bad at like damage in general.
Oh, it's a whole nother world. It's wonderful.
Like this Zarya should be dead, but you'll notice that things just don't die because one, they don't target focus. We talked about that, and they just miss. So those two combined just makes you able to get away with a lot more mistakes. I don't like this damage order. Why?
I'm assuming it doesn't do much when my team probably needs healing more.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, we also wasted all of our resources. Your resource management is pathetic right now.
Okay.
We're out of resources 27 seconds into the match. Really, man? 27 seconds into the match, you're already out of gas.
So to
So-
manage more, right-click more, charge it up, or just not use as much?
Right click will help to a large extent, but you didn't have opportunities to right click because your positioning was crap, right?
Okay.
So you weren't able to right click because your positioning was bad. Even if your positioning was good, there will be times you don't have lots of opportunities to right click because they have a lot of shields.
All right.
So it's about using less, but also when you do use it, make sure you're healing something. I would say about a third of the healing of the left clicking that you're doing here, you weren't actually healing shit. Let's watch it again.
Defend objective A.
Enemies on my radar.
Yeah, you didn't really heal anything there. I messed up my thing. There you go.
That's all right.
What are you healing? You're a third gone, and what did you heal?
Well, nothing actually.
See my point?
Yeah.
This is like going in your car and just keeping the engine running, putting on the pedal on neutral, and just running your tank a third of a tank for going nowhere. We are halfway done. I don't think we've healed anything. Like, if we look at our healing, I bet it's under 200.
Okay.
I need healing. I require
The first time we're healing something is this. Sorry, who needs it? We're already under that.
I need to recharge.
Holding left click down until we're at gone. And then one of the things is we use our damage orb instead of healing orb. If you have a chance to use healing orb and use that to heal us up instead of your left click, that's 100% better than using your left click because it doesn't use your resources.
Right.
So if you want to manage your resources, you have to balance one, actually healing things that need healing. That'd be good. Start. Two, using the spray a lingering effect when you don't need a lot of healing. So a spritz, you heal 70 healing per second, but afterwards you'll heal another 50 healing per second. It's 50 health over 3 seconds. Now I'm not saying only spritz it once every 3 seconds all the time, but use that AoE effect, that lingering effect, to some extent when you can. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then 3, use your healing orbs when you know that you need a lot of healing, but you can't just hold down left click constantly. Healing orbs are good. They do more healing than your left click. Did you know that?
No, I didn't actually.
It's 75 healing per second, up to a total of 300 healing.
Interesting. Okay.
My will made real. Let's not run.
And we died because when we needed healing, we didn't have you. You were out of the tank.
Okay. Yeah, we lose this. I think we lose this push. Yeah.
Oh, there ain't no doubt about that, man. If you're curious about whether you lost that or not, you won't watch.
No, I was trying to remember if the Zarya stays alive. Which I'm sure will be very surprised. So I think she
This will
does.
win you.
She might, but she shouldn't.
This will improve your condition.
You see how inefficient you are with the healing here? Like, you're healing a lot of things that aren't there. And we're out of gas again.
I've literally
So-
not noticed that.
Healing efficiency is really important. What I think is happening is you're just healing in the general direction of your team at all times without much thought behind it.
Okay.
Well, I need you to think before you act. No matter what hero you play. Everything should have a purpose. Then we're out of gas and we do damage orb.
Yeah,
Problem.
again.
I need to surrender to my will.
We use ultimate here.
Yeah.
Why?
I really don't know, to be completely honest with you. Looking back on that.
So let's talk about that, okay?
Yeah.
What I have found through my years of coaching
Sure.
is that when I ask someone a question and their answer is, I don't know. They just saw what they did. I sure as hell don't know why they do it. And they don't even know why they didn't do it. Or why they did something. The answer is always autopilot. And autopilot is the death of improvement. Autopilot are things that you do without thinking. Ever walked into the kitchen and have no idea why you were there? That's autopilot. You did something without thinking because it's a habit. There's a reason behind it, but it's not a conscious reason. And because it's not a conscious reason, it probably ain't a very good reason. Make sense?
Yeah.
So 2 things here. 1, recognize when you do autopilot and try to make sure that you do less of it. Have a good reason for everything you do. Think before you act. Especially with something like a freaking ultimate, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
2, go over your own gameplay and see how often you ask yourself, why did I do this?
Yeah.
was it a good idea?
I've tried, and it's I find it quite difficult because it's yourself you're watching. And you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But also not.
I don't see any sense here.
Well, yeah, exactly.
All right, so Warrior's Ultimate, what does it do?
Heals
Fuck
and
it.
damages.
Uh,
Constant shields, blah blah.
okay, give me numbers. Give me more elaborate stuff. Give me more specifics.
I'm gonna say 70 damage per second. And possibly the same for healing, I'm not sure.
Well, first of all, I'm impressed. You nailed nailed it on the head with the damage.
Okay. My friend had a coaching session with you a while ago, and I was talking to him about this earlier, and that's
Good.
literally a question you asked him. And that's what
Good.
I know.
It is 70 damage per second. It is 140 healing per second.
Ah,
So you tell me, is this a damage
I
or
might as well use it
ultimate,
for
or is this a
healing
healing ultimate?
this is a healing ultimate.
It's a little bit of both, but primarily a healing ultimate.
Hmm.
If you do this for damage, which everyone in silver does because they're bad,
Yeah.
then you're missing out the entire point of the ultimate. Let's talk about that, okay? When you use Moira ultimate, it is not you Moira ult and you kill shit. That's not how that works. You ain't a DPS. Moira ultimate is the whole point of it is to provide a pathway for your team to go aggressive into the enemy team.
Like an
Think of it
opening.
as like an aggro beat. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
That's what. But it's not. You and you go in. I hate it. Every bad Moira does that. They and they just expect their team to go in. Fuck that shit. You want to communicate. Okay, let's go in. I have coalescence. So you tell yourself, team, go in on the Orisa and then I'll co. Or go in on the Zarya and then I'll co. Then you let your team go in. You don't co and go in. You go in. You get on that target. You go over there. You tell your team, all right, go on this thing. And once they're on that thing, then you co. Make sense?
Yeah.
And you keep up with your team. So that when Orisa goes over here, you're not over here going, all right, let me slowly go over here and get this line of angle. I ran out.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Wrong one. All right. Also, they have a coalescence themselves. They really need to make like Beam Wars a thing with like 2 coalescences going off. Please make it happen, Blizzard.
Oh, I'm out of juice.
Every time, my man. Every time. So, part of it is finding opportunities to right click. And you can't right click a shield and get your resources, so
Yeah.
make sure you're not right clicking shields. Part of it is, being better at using your heal, healing things that need healing and not missing them and not holding down left click too much. And part of it is using your healing orbs. That's a good healing orb. I don't know if you know this, but you can shift out of a grab.
Yeah, no, I do know that. As to why I didn't do it, that's
Not ready.
Ah. Autopilot?
Yeah, you can shift out and being burnt as well.
I like the damage orb on the Lucio here. I like
Yeah,
that a lot.
I felt like he was not a big sustainer, but a sustainer of the enemy team. And if
It's not just even that. It's just the fact that he's so poorly positioned that you can kill him with that damage orb, so do it.
Right.
Also, numbers are important here. How much damage do you think you do with the right click?
Oh, I don't know. No idea.
50 DPS.
Okay.
So your right click is 50 DPS. Your coalescence is 70 DPS. What do these numbers mean? Is this a lot? Is this a lot? Is this a little? Let's do it in comparison. How much damage do you think a tracer does in 1 second with no headshots, and every bullet hitting?
It's got to be about 150, surely.
240
240. Okay.
in 1 second. You do 50. Do you think Winston does a lot of damage?
No.
His big thing is that he can hit multiple targets at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But per target he does not do a lot of damage, right?
No.
60.
Okay.
So 50 DPS is not a lot.
No. not at all.
You do less than the Winston does on one target. But your damage orb does the same damage as your right click. You just doubled your DPS with the damage orb, 100 DPS per second. Now you're kind of serviceable on finishing up a target out of position.
Yeah.
That's a little unfortunate. How low were we? Let me see here. Alright, so this Moira was Moira was right clicking us and we didn't realize it. We had our shift available, we just didn't react in time. We were so bloodthirsty on the Lucio, you get reacted a little bit quicker there.
I need my keen analytical mind.
She killed freaking 3 of us, dude. And that's just because, again, this is what I'll see a lot in Silver, is that people are just really unaware of what's going on around them. Like, just watch this again and see how obvious it is that Moira's attacking us. Right now.
Yeah.
Like, it happens for like 3 seconds, right?
Yep.
A Moira shouldn't be able to right-click you for 3 seconds before you realize it.
I need my keen analytical mind detects a pattern for
We should still win this fight, though.
not dead yet.
Well, anything goes here, though.
Well, yeah. No spoilers.
Get into position.
Oh, that might cinch it. Yep. Moira killed 3, including us. So this is being important here, okay? In a fight like that, we win it. If you stay alive. The reason we lose it is because we had no healing, and you were basically all of our healing. I don't trust that Mercy. No offense.
No,
I'm not saying don't ever trust a Mercy. I'm just saying that for Mercy to give the same sustain as a Moira in that situation, she has to be like pretty good. Like Moira can heal everybody and keep everybody up really quickly. Mercy's I talked about it earlier. So Moira does 70 healing per second.
Yeah.
With her healing orb, 75 healing per second.
Yeah.
She can combine it for 145 healing per second top.
Okay.
Her Co is 140 healing per second. Combine it with her orb, because she can do both at the same time. If she uses her orb first, only if she uses her orb first. When she uses Coalescence, she's locked out of any of their abilities.
Yep.
Then that can go up to 215 healing per second. That's a ton of healing. That's AoE healing. Not just one person. AoE healing. Everything around you. Massive healing. She is the biggest healer in the game. Mercy. I think she does 55 healing per second now. One target.
Buff.
That's it. That's it. That's all she got. Honestly, in comparison, it's kind of sad. It ain't close. Now, she got some stuff going with her. That res is pretty nice. But when it comes to pure healing, Mercy is completely outclassed. So that's why it's so important for you not to die.
Damage increase. Group up with me.
But it don't matter how much healing you do when you have juice.
Group up. You have my thanks.
You got a code though? Let's see how this one works. Let's have an EMP.
My ultimate is ready.
Allow me.
Why are we here?
I don't think I was sure on which side they were going. Because Azari's gone right side, but I think the Ryan comes around to left. I think the plan was anyway
Let's be here until we know which way we're going, right?
Okay.
Like, and then follow Reinhardt most likely.
Right.
Because he could be our natural cover. In fact, I don't want to show it here, Reinhardt. There we go.
Allow me to repair the damage.
And, yeah, that's unlucky though. I mean, I know you're trying to do that. That was a little bit unlucky. I'll give you that.
60 seconds.
Now will be a fantastic time to co. We go in, we co here. I love it.
I think
We
I
do
do.
it,
I'm not sure.
My will.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. first of all, it's unlucky that the Genji didn't get EMP here. It's actually easier for a Genji to ult a Moira who's coalescing than not coalescing because you can't shift. But also there's a bob in her face. What did she EMP? Let's see here. What happens? Let me look at her person's perspective here.
Surrender to my will.
She EMPs everybody but DPS. So here we need to press W. We need to press W on the Zarya here.
Oh, and we could have burnt her down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then just go on point. The problem is we just stay here. And that's not just on you. That's everyone has to do that. That's just... But it's hard for... Silvers have a problem of finding W on their keyboard. I get that.
Sure.
And I say silver, like, it's the same problem in gold. Same problem in plat. It's just anything below, like, high diamond GM, they literally don't have that key on their keyboard, which is a problem. But you have to try to help them find it. Make sense?
Yeah.
And look how split we are. Like, we got people over here, but you're over here. Why are you over here? You should be over here with the team. And primarily healing it. We got bobbed a little bit by this guy, but still, we should have been better positionally.
Sure.
And because you're dead, we have no heals. If we have no heals, we're gonna lose the fight.
This will restore
On my way.
I'm pretty good at predicting fight outcomes.
30 seconds remaining.
Group up here. We're out of time. Attack.
Your Moira skin is kind of scary.
seemingly evade.
Heroes never die.
All right, so fight begins, and before the fight begins, we were at half juice already.
Yeah.
How much healing do you think we did?
Sorry, say that again.
How much healing do you think we did?
Probably half of the Genji's health.
Not very much.
This will heal you.
10 seconds remaining.
This will improve your
I like to kill the Genji. I like that a lot. But we're really low in health. I don't know if we can afford it. We gotta like hold down left click now. You shouldn't be right clicking here. We need to keep our tanks up.
Right. Okay.
And a damage orb is okay. But we need to stabilize here. So it's really important. Your job is to help make sure that we are topped off in the situation. And once we are topped off, then go back to damage. So it's like damage, then stabilize, and then once we're stabilized, back to damage. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
If there's ever a situation where you're running out of juice and we're not stabilized yet, that's where you use the healing orbs more often.
Yeah.
You might need to right click and do some damage just to feed up your juice a little bit mid-fight at the cost of doing healing, so you can do healing later. But it's a judgment call. And it's always a balancing act of when you get juice, when you're doing damage, when you're doing healing, etc. Don't code this. Don't code this thing.
I will not be denied.
I require healing.
Objective A captured.
I'd rather use a healing orb there, just so that you don't use any juice, but it's not a big deal since there's like barely any.
Sure.
You think so? Is it your job to be pushing the cart? My answer to that is no. It is not your job to be pushing the cart. You should be having your Lucio push the cart.
Okay. That's an issue in about 5 seconds' time, where I tell the Lucio to go forwards and not sit on the.
This will restore you.
Cease your
The
resistance.
payload moves towards our desired outcome.
Coalescence is actually a fantastic counter to bongos. Why is that?
To what? Sorry.
To bongos.
Really?
Yes. Why do you think that is?
Because you can go through the shield, hit the bongo.
Yep. Think about it. You bongo. If you use your co right now on that, it's just dead. It's just dead, and it's dead in about 2 seconds. 3 seconds if nothing else hits it. And then once it's dead, you've got what? 2/3 of your ult left, and what do they have? They got nothing. Right?
Yeah.
But we're not in position to do that because we put our taxi cab driver hat on, didn't we?
Yeah.
In fact, we're taking a 6 versus 4 right now.
This will heal you.
I know.
You know what? You know I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Watch your back. Allow me.
Don't be afraid of damage orb that guy.
So I think I wanted to hit the Genji a lot in this because I didn't really trust anyone else on the team to hit the Genji.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with you pressuring the Genji. Just, it's again, you have to balance it. When do you pressure the Genji, and when do you heal your team? You can't just do one and forget about the other if the other one becomes more of a threat. So damage the Genji until your team needs healing, and then go back to Genji when you stabilize. That's the trick. That's the flow. You heal your team when they need healing, then you damage when they don't need healing, and then you go back to stabilize your team as needed. All right, we lose this fight. We lose this fight because we really didn't do anything after the Genji. Like, watch this. Right now, we use our shift already, which is unfortunate. We're not healing our team, we're right-clicking the enemies, which is, I'm not sure why. Why are we doing that? Why aren't we healing our team?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I think it's whenever I see a squishy near me, I'm always like, oh, I can try and tickle or something. But, as you said, the damage output it really isn't anything special.
Not at all. The only thing, here's the thing. The only reason Moira's DPS so much in Silver is because you don't have to aim with Moira.
Yeah.
And although Tracer does 250 damage in a second, that's if she hits her shots. No one hits their shots. So while she has she can do 240 damage, if you miss like 80% of your shots, you're only doing Moira damage anyway.
Yeah.
While Moira doesn't have to aim, she can do a constant 50 DPS. And honestly, even though Zarya can maybe do like 200 DPS, the people who play Zarya at this level are so bad at aiming that it might as well be 50 DPS.
Right.
Because they have to aim, and if they don't aim, they don't get any value. That's why Moira is used so much as offensively, because she can do the effective damage as other heroes can.
Just
because it's a lot easier to get 100% out of her damage because she's such an easy hero to play when it comes to accuracy. Like, there is no accuracy required, pretty much, for the right click.
Sure.
But don't let that fool you. As you rank up, people hit their shots more. And the fact that other characters can do 3 to 4 times your damage will punish you if you try to go DPS too much. Now, in a situation where a Lucio or a Genji is completely out of position, yeah, pressure them. Do damage orb. Try to finish them off. Just understand that concept.
I require healing.
Alright, we have a Ko soon. We need to go in and Ko. Capture this Bob, though. Why didn't we... Okay, what did we use our fade for? Hold on.
We got out of the way of the Bob. And I didn't use a Ko because I figured that Genji would kill me, so I just...
Yeah, Ko was not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to... Why do we need to shift that?
I think I saw the Ryan facing me, which figured, you know, he's not going to be able to defend me.
We're right around the corner. All we gotta do is move around this corner.
Well, yeah.
We should have saved the shift for a better reason. And because of that, this is the second time they Genji ulted, and we already shifted. And that, we get punished for that. In fact, Coalescence would be a good idea to keep your team alive in that situation.
Can I
Potentially,
out-heal
if
the
you're able to
Genji ult?
shift away. Um, almost. Almost. You can almost out-heal the Genji ult.
Huh, okay.
The big thing about the Genji ult is you almost out-heal it. It's like this. If you pop your Ko at the right time, so you fight if you shift away and then you Ko on the target he's attacking.
Yeah.
Instead of it taking 2 swings to kill him, it's going to take like 4 to 5 swings.
Right.
And
Okay.
here's the thing: where is he in relative relation to the target that he's attacking? On top of him, right?
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing as you are healing that target? Damaging the Genji.
Hmm.
Now, if you also throw an orb into the mix, either healing or damage, now you see where I'm getting at.
So always orb before Koal is just
If
the
you have
best
time
thing
to.
do. Yeah.
If you have time to. Understand the orb is going to take about a second and a half away from when you actually use your Ko. And your Ko itself takes about a second to wind up and utilize. Make sense?
Right. Yeah.
So if you got 2.5 seconds to spare, sure, yeah, go ahead and do it. But if you don't, you may not have time for the orb. So it's a judgment call. Make sense?
Yeah.
Физкульт, привет. We must all make sacrifices.
60 seconds remaining.
Get into position.
The hell was that? Oh, okay, I see what we did there.
My ultimate is ready. Join me.
So it was a care package for your Pharah. Oh, I like it. What? But keep that on our Ryan. Yeah, much better. Not bad.
You'd be
I like that,
wise to
Ko.
stay out of
Good
my
job.
sight.
Hello.
Good timing.
Thank you.
That's like you see what I meant by like go winning Ko. That was a great
Yeah.
example of it, right?
Yeah.
30 seconds remaining.
It was also a great shatter.
Going to the Yesh, you have my thanks. This will heal you.
Enemy C.
Probably the last team fight.
We end up taking 3 points.
I mean, time wise.
Remaining.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
All right, positioning here. I need you to keep up with that Reinhardt, okay? Why are you trying to spray him from this distance?
Not sure, but I do shift over to him.
Too late.
I am on
This is too late.
Okay.
You should have shifted into him
As
the
soon as
second he
went.
pins in.
Right.
Now, I don't want my Reinhardt pinning in this deep.
But I
But-
really need to go in and support him with it.
If he dies, you lose. So you gotta keep him up. You gotta. It's better to everyone to follow a bad plan than you not following that bad plan, but they do and then they die. Usually.
the payload.
Don't kill yourself to save people most of the time. In this scenario, you should try to save them.
Sure.
And the reason for that is, like, Reinhardt can protect you a little bit. The fact that you're completely oblivious to this Ashe to our right is concerning AF.
So my logic there was at least I've left a Rhine behind me, but I've got a support and I can't see who else is on point with a Genji and a Lucio. I know I can at least try and help burn down one of them and take the pressure off, but I was happy leaving the Ashe behind me because I know the Rhine was there. That was the logic anyway.
Okay. I'll take it. I just, I would prefer us not to leave problems alone here. You can leave the Reinhardt here. Absolutely. You absolutely can. And he can take care of this Ashe. But you can also, like, just pressure take care of this problem right now, to a large extent. And then deal on point. because we're not losing this,
Oh yeah, that
Right?
sorry would have. Yeah.
and this can be a problem later on, and it's gonna be a bigger problem once you get higher ranked, where these ashes can like do a lot of value when left alone.
Sure.
Like Ash can like go up here and then like have this angle here, and it's a really big problem. And do we really want the Reinhardt to like be doing this instead of like helping out in the front line here? Like this is nice, and he should be doing that. And you're right about that. Just be careful. I'd rather like solve a problem and then converge here than go over here and
Still have that.
I'm
problem.
trading my Reinhardt for their Ash.
Right. Okay.
I don't like that trade. What are we doing? Weird.
Heroes never die.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What is that? Why are we doing that?
Which part?
Your positioning is really frustrating to me.
So logic. Anyway, move out of the way of the Bob.
Okay, can you hug your Reinhardt more? Just hug your Reinhardt. Like, give him
Okay.
some hugs.
Sure.
Really
Yeah.
important. Like, this isn't terrible here, but like we spent like 12 seconds figuring out where we're gonna be, trying to get out of line of sight. We could have been like healing our team as necessary, damage or something, and like understand Bob doesn't kill everybody. Okay,
Sure.
Bob doesn't kill everybody. He only focuses on one thing, and it's gonna be the first thing he sees, like a silver player. So it's probably gonna be Reinhardt, and if it's on you, you can shift, and it's gonna be on Reinhardt. So you don't have to always line aside, and he has a shield too, so you can chill that out. I'm not saying never like take this angle. It's just it takes too long for you to do that, in my opinion. And I don't know, it's okay. It just took too long to get here. Absolutely should have been a healing orb there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
My will.
just.
No, this co was absolutely necessary. All right. Any questions over anything?
About the lesson in total.
Sure.
So, Moira really needs to hug main tank more than I do. I feel like I'm playing her
Yes.
a little bit more like Ash, which is further back, which is really how I like to play Ash. But in terms of Moira, I really need to be further up in the team
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
and manage resources better, a lot better by the sound of it.
Oh yes, you saw that, especially at the beginning. That was unacceptable. All right. Anything else?
I'm actually very happy with that, to be honest, man.
Glad to hear that. Honestly, you're not that bad of a Moira. It's just, I could tell you're not nearly as experienced on her, but you just have to work on the things we talked about. Like you work on those things, you'll make a huge difference, and be aware of it. It's really important to be aware, like as you're playing.
Yeah, not just autopilot.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, man, that was eye-opening.
Glad to hear it. What I want to do, what I want to hear is I want to hear how you handle this in the future, and let me know how things go. Okay? I want to hear good
Yeah.
things. And if you have any questions on anything, send me a DM, and I'll do what I can to help you. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds absolutely great, actually. I might leave it a bit and then maybe book another session. I'm really not sure, but
Fantastic.
this
I'd like to
was
see that
kind of
progress.
a lot more helpful than I thought it would be. Not that I thought you were bad, but like I've never done anything like this before.
And it's the thing, a lot of people don't realize, I had coaching in a video game before. How much is that really going to help? Hey, click on heads more, hurt dirt. But no, like it's just like coaching in anything else. Like there's a lot you can learn from something. You're not gonna, you can play golf and get a golf coach, and then you realize, oh, that's how you're supposed to play golf.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, let me know how things go. Okay,
yeah. No, I will. I really enjoyed today. So, thank you.
fantastic. All right, well, take care, man.
Yep. All right. Enjoy. See you.
See ya.